What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Sub Urban Nerd. This channel I give my nerd reviews on today's nerd news. I also do movie reviews, and today's movie review is yeah, X-Men: The Dark Phoenix. And boy, oh boy, was this movie something. Now, I'm just gonna usually in the beginning of my reviews, I give you kind of like a feel of what I thought, and it wasn't garbage. As far as what you people see, everybody seeing on these reviews, it wasn't garbage. There's been worse movies than this, in my opinion. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a continuation of the X-Men franchise, which is kind of rebooted in a way with the X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, and now X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, the moral or the plot of the story is the X-Men, they get sent to space to go save these astronauts, and in the midst of saving these astronauts, one of them gets left behind. Jean and Nightcrawler go back. They save the guy, but Jean gets left behind by mistake because the Phoenix Force goes through, and then she absorbs it in order to save everybody else. And then after that, she kind of starts going cray-cray, sort of like what she did in Last Stand. Only difference is Last Stand had a little bit more direction than this as far as like main plot of the movie. This one, it was sort of all over the place. It was mostly just following Jean Grey, just trying to figure out things and also go cray-cray. Now, one of the things, major points in this is sort of like in the Last Stand, Xavier suppresses a memory, right? He suppresses a memory, which I didn't understand what the point of it was, because if you watch this movie, right, in the beginning, and that was the beginning of this movie, I was like, oh, you know what? That isn't bad. Why? Because at the beginning of this movie, I'm watching it, and I like the chemistry. I like with the little girl, what happened, Charles Xavier coming, taking her in, and you see kind of the history. Now, apparently, he suppresses the thought of the fact that I guess she killed her parents, right? But this little girl is, well, like, she is aware of everything. In fact, they ask, like, when Charles comes in, she says, "They're dead, aren't they?" And he says, "Yes." And she understands. And she understands it's her fault. So as far as that, I didn't understand why he even had to do that. It just didn't make sense to me, right? So that was one of those plots. But other than that, going through the story, this is a first time directorial debut by Simon Kinberg, who has written the scripts to a bunch of great movies. He's written the scripts to the X-Men movies. He's written scripts to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He's written scripts to Sherlock Holmes. So the guy is a great scriptwriter. So this is him kind of trying to dip his feet into, let's say, like this X-Men. And I can understand what they thought as far as, hey, you know what? You've been writing scripts. Maybe you can direct. But this was not the movie for him to try and direct, because this movie was $150 million movie. You don't dip your feet in something like that. You dip your feet in little indie movies, then you try and move up to these superhero movies. That's what most of these, as far as Marvel, you know, they've had directors and it's done a great job, because they choose directors that show that they know how to direct a good movie, you know. Then they hand him over these big things. But this guy's never directed before, and you hand him this. And as far as his first try, it wasn't bad, because, you know, I'm not gonna say I could do better than him, because I've never tried it before. And for this not to be a piece of shit, good on you, bro. Good on you, because he did his best job. Even though you guys might not think it's a good movie, the guy did his best job as far as being the first time doing this. And this movie, as far as issues, had a couple of them. Mainly, say, Jessica Chastain's person, her character. You didn't understand why, like, it was sort of like a plot point just put in there for the end, so there can be a redeeming mark for, I guess, Sophie Turner. But as far as her, I was thinking it was going to be like the Shi'ar Empire or something like that, sort of like, you know, with this, because this is the Phoenix Force. It's one of the best stories in the X-Men, you know, comics, and it's along with, you know, Days of Future Past, and they didn't really flesh this out. It seemed very small, because Phoenix Force is cosmic. It's cosmic. It's like, you know, universal, multi-universal in a way. So for them to try and hone it down, make it small, it just seemed kind of weird, but I understand at the same point because you already did something grandiose with X-Men Apocalypse. You already had the world in danger, everything going cray-cray, and you wanted to go a little bit more personal with the story. The problem with that is we've just met these people. We've just met Jean Grey last movie, Scott Summers last movie. We just met these people. So as far as them doing the whole, personal thing, it isn't the same because we just met them. It isn't like when we first watched the X-Men movie and then X-Men 2 and then X-Men 3. By the 3, we'd already seen Jean Grey since the first one. So then when she was going cray-cray and doing bad things, we're like, oh man. And this one, sure, we like Sophie Turner, we liked her in the last movie, but it's kind of trying to force us to feel a certain way about these people. And Jessica Chastain's person is like, it's like throwaway. You didn't even really need her. Like, if you want to just focus it and just make it personal, make it personal. But like, with this is the last movie in the X-Men franchise. This is done. Fox is sold to Disney, so it's gonna be something completely new. So I figured you kind of try and end with a bang. And most of these fights were like small scale, in front of like a small little street, or small street in front of a building in New York, or small little farm thing, or like a train. And I'm sorry, for a last movie, you should have did more. You should have came at us with everything you had, or come at us with a story that's so great and personal. Look at Logan. Logan was not major epic. It was real personal, but when the fights happened, it was real gritty. It was real personal in that scene, in those moments. It hit you hard. And I wish this had taken Fox knows how to make great movies. They made Logan. They made Deadpool. It just makes no sense. Why? But it's the same fact, like I said, it's a first-time director, so you can't expect this guy to know how to do exactly what would need to be done for a story like this. And I don't know. Maybe as far as me, I do have a little bias, and I'm going to tell you right up front. Why? Because after Days of Future Past, one of the things that kept annoying the crap out of me, because it was sort of annoying the crap out of me, but I kind of let it slide, was the fact that none of them age. These movies do these 10-year gaps, and for some reason, they do not age, and it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it's Fox, because they don't care about continuity, schmontnuity. They don't care. Charles McAvoy is older than Patrick Stewart or whatever when he was in X-Men. At this point, technically, because each year is 10 years, and it was started in the 60s, and now they're in the 90s, so it should be 30. And he was 30 when he first met Rogue. Or not when he first met Rogue. When he started the school institute, he was in his 30s, so he should be like 60 years old. These kids that are supposed to be kids, Quicksilver, he should be like 30 years old or something. James McAvoy should be like 60 something, maybe 70. I don't know, but none of this stuff makes sense. But you do love the chemistry between McAvoy and Fassbender because they always bring it. But at the same time, there's dialogue in this movie where these people don't act the way you would think, because you see the Phoenix Force, like there's a moment where you see in the trailer where Jean pulls his Phoenix Force in order to save everybody. But then she starts acting crazy, and then some people, I'm not going to say who, was like, okay, oh no, maybe she always was just, she had this in her. But yet, you saw something happen to her. You saw something go into her. And you don't question, maybe that's why she's not acting right, you know? Or you want to kill them, or you want to kill her, and then the way she acting, like if you're worried about, you don't want to be around people to say, as far as hurt them, then why would you go looking for someone which theoretically you could hurt them? What, you think by seeing this person is going to keep you from going crazy? I don't know. Like, you see these scenes, I love Storm. Storm's great. The characters are great. It's just the fact that the story was very flawed, wasn't good. And if you guys are looking for one of those Quicksilver moments, I'm sorry to tell you that you're going to be sadly disappointed, because they do not have it. See, this moment, he's in the beginning, he tries to have one of those quick moments, and then he's out for the count for the rest of the movie. You could definitely tell that Jennifer Lawrence was over it. She was done, and she didn't really care anymore. So, I wasn't sad to see her gone. And I'm not spoiling nothing, because you could clearly see in the trailer that she was going to get killed off. And that was, I think, a flaw, because they shouldn't have shown that. They shouldn't have shown that she's going to, granted, it might be a small point in the beginning, but still, like, I don't know. I don't know with these people with the marketing, with the directing. It was very off. Me, if I had to give this movie a grade, I'm gonna give this movie a C, a solid C. Why? Because it could have been worse, but at the same time there was a lot of flaws, and I think it had potential. It had the potential to be something great, and I'm sorry it fell short. So as far as that, that's my review of this movie. It wasn't a piece of trash. It wasn't garbage fire. it wasn't a trash fire, but it wasn't good. I'd say see it just for the fact that it's the last one. I didn't stay around to even see if there was post credits. I doubt there's post credits, because why? It sold to Fox. So if you have Movie Pass, definitely see this. If you want to see, if you like X-Men, I'd say see it. But if it's something you're not really sure about, wait for it on streaming service or something like that, and save your money. But that's my review. So remember, I'm Wes Grant. Comment down below if you feel the same way I feel, as far as maybe the time jumps or being continuity wise, whatever. But remember to subscribe, check out my last review, check out my playlist of reviews. Remember, I'm Wes Grant. You've been watching Suburban Nerd. You've just been nerdified. Catch you on the next review. And like.